I vastly prefer how the BMOs are in this game to in Wind Waker. Because in Wind Waker, their heads, like their vulnerable eyes appeared, and they disappeared immediately after they attacked you, like the most annoying ones. The easy to deal with BMOs would always have their eyes be vulnerable, like they would just continuously be shooting one laser, and you could defeat them pretty easily. But they're also really cheap BMOs that they only had one weak spot, and it appeared and disappeared so quickly, and you're guaranteed to get hit. I honestly have no idea how to do this legitimately. No clue. The only way that I can beat this room is to use the Gale Boomerang glitch, which is definitely much cooler. But it really sucks getting knocked into the lava here, because then you have to repeat the glitch all over again. Like, the glitch is also kind of inconsistent. Sometimes I'll have sworn that I did it right. Like, I'll have turned the camera right and everything, and Link will still do a really short jump attack. But yeah, it's pretty easy for the Dodongos to knock you into the lava. I have no idea why they're called Dodongos when they look nothing like them. When I think Dodongos, I think the ones from Zelda 1 and Four Swords Adventures. I'm sorry, but these guys are not Dodongos. They're just some sort of lizard that has, like, there's some sort of fire-breathing lizard. It's not like you put bombs in their mouths and that's how you kill them. But whatever. How do people even know what they're called anyways? I mean, it's not like there's a monster bestiary like in Wind Waker. Even if you did have to take a picture of every monster to know what its name was. This is really awkward. Like, what I'm not showing you is my take where I actually got knocked off the wall by getting attacked by that thing. Even though I had the iron boots on. Well, I guess it makes sense. Like, it's not like there was a magnet being covering all of the magnetic floor, but yeah, if it knocks you off, then you have to take a pretty long time getting back up. I wonder if every enemy does that. Like, do the fire things that stick to the walls, do they knock you off ceiling too? Would I have had to deal with in the maze? I like how they seem to have brought the crystals back. Like, the crystals from the Tower of Hera. Although they're not orbs. And it's not like they raise and lower blocks so that you can progress. Like, they don't really bring that concept back until Link Between Worlds. I think. I haven't really played Spirit Tracks. There's a model file with no file extension in this game, and it seems to be in the same format as the early Hyrule Castle model, unused in Wind Waker. There's also an unused version of Zant's model on the throne, only loaded in unused Palace of Twilight room file. Its archive contains only animations for sitting and waiting. There's a few unused music tracks for the game, like title logo E3 was featured in the early E3 2005 build, and it played after players selected a stage in the demo. Title logo E3 2006 is the title theme for the E3 2006 demo. It has a striking resemblance to the previous song, but with alternate instrumentals and a wolf howl that instead features reverb. So I guess echo? Field BMS is a sequence track that sounds like a remix of the Ocarina of Time Hyrule Field music. The track was menu music for the E3 2005 demo. As the track is not loaded in-game with proper samples, a Twilight Princess sound font was mapped to the correct channels to create the recording. So that gives you a rough idea of how the song should sound. Personally, I definitely prefer the way the Hyrule Field theme sounds in Twilight Princess, especially when it gets to the really happy part that played when I was showing you the footage of me getting the pill bug. Like, I really like that theme. There's also a track that's ripped from a Nintendo DS download play demo. It has has a longer drum roll at the start, but is otherwise just like the previous remix. Stage Select E3 2006 is an earlier, shorter version of the Hyrule Field theme used in the final game. It was used in a trailer for the game, and in the E3 2006 demo, kiosk demo, as a Stage Select menu theme. Kayaku Machi is a copy of the music used in the pre-rendered demo movie. However, because the music of the movie is embedded in the video itself, this stream is never used. The name means waiting for customers, making this a fitting title for a track paired with the demo video. But yeah, this boss is pathetically easy. In fact, it doesn't really seem to have a second phase, making it feel like it was very rushed. Not that I'm really complaining, I like easy bosses. But yeah, this boss is basically just repeat the same thing over and over. Like, you put on the iron boots and grab the chain and pull it after waiting an extremely long time to be able to shoot him in the gem head. Like, seriously, this guy's a sitting duck. He spends the vast majority of his time just sitting around or walking around a little bit, but by that point you're already behind him. Like, this boss just feels like an afterthought, really. Basically, every boss in the game has, like, a moment where it's lying on the ground waiting for you to attack it. And it's a good idea to charge out the spin attack while you're walking towards it. Like, you don't want to waste precious time, but the problem is that also wastes precious time because you're not rolling towards it. But it's a bit better than taking the risk of trying to do a quick spin attack and failing, and doing a bunch of quick combos instead. I mean, after you do that spin attack that's charged up, you'll have to do quick spins anyways. So this boss is pathetically easy. And it's weird because it's actually possessed by the Fused Shadow, even though the previous boss wasn't and was a lot harder. So let me get this straight. Person who is empowered by the Fused Shadow of evil is less powerful than some random Goron. Okay then. Not complaining. It just looks weird, like... So I guess... Like, usually this kind of animation happens when someone dies, but this was just a possessed person. So, it's like, why did he explode only to leave behind a silhouette of himself that turns out to be just a burned version of his normal body? I don't understand why I can't skip the cutscenes that always happen after you beat a boss, but you're able to skip the cutscenes right before them. Like I said, very schizophrenic. Like, even before she softens up, she says that she would never wish harm on Zelda. She says that Zelda has been sheltered. And that's really hypocritical. I mean, wouldn't she... I mean, like, she's criticizing a rich princess for being sheltered. Even though, like, there's no way that she wouldn't be sheltered. Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. There's no reason that Midna has any right to say that when there's no way that she didn't live like that too. You know? And, like, you can tell because of the way she talks to Link. Like she really does... She's really used to people doing what she says. Like, I don't know. Like, it's also weird because she talks as if she she's had a lifelong, like, that's always how she's felt about Zelda, and she's had that opinion of her for a long time. Even though, like, how far back does she know Zelda? I mean, she just casually goes to visit her. Like, she knows exactly where she lives. So, were they already friends? I mean, they had to have been. Like, Zelda wasn't looking at her in her imp form and going, "Who are you? Are you dangerous?" No, she seemed to just know that she was safe. Why did the Light Spirit talk to him after, like, long after the Twilight had ended? And how did they not hear him? Like, seriously. Like, there's so many instances in this game where there's characters that can't be seen or heard by regular people. And like, even with the Twilight shield around the castle, well, a random Goron does comment on it, but he's the only one who really notices it. Which is weird because it can be seen so easily. I like this. Like, again, like, Twilight Princess can have heartwarming cutscenes. They're definitely not nearly as charming as... Like, I generally describe Wind Waker's cutscenes as charming. These cutscenes aren't charming. These cutscenes are trying to be more serious. To be an actual plot. Like, they're making an effort to make an actual story. And Wind Waker had an actual story too, of course, but this has less levity to it. It does emotional impact pretty well, but there's not that much fun to it. It's a grand adventure, though. And that's something that Sonic, I think, should learn from. Waiting! Yay! That's not boring at all. There's an unused moon texture borrowed from Wind Waker that was used in the first trailer for this game. Honey in a Bottle is also one of the many unused textures, as well as a demonic-looking Tetra icon used as a Midna placeholder, and the Mirror Shield icon designed after the Ocarina of Time one. So, the Gorons are in the village now because, I guess, defeating their leader magically changed their opinions on the humans? So now they like us now. I mean, I guess they're doing it to make it up to Link. You'd think that the Gorons would at least mention something about how everyone in the village is dead, but no, I guess not. They just have no problem with standing in front of abandoned houses all day, waiting for Link to show up and ask them for help. I mean, it's convenient. Like, at least you can progress to certain areas now. I love the bomb arrows. Like, it's really cool. Like, I love them in Link's Awakening, and they're even cooler in 3D. In fact, a lot of the times I'll use the bomb arrows because I'm just so impatient waiting for the actual bombs to just blow up. Like, it doesn't help that Link is taller than Wind Waker Link, and it's harder for him to actually hit the bomb with his sword to make it blow up faster as a result. So I'll constantly put the bomb down and then get really annoyed and impatient waiting for it, and then I'll attack the wall instead of it. Like, I guess the sword is longer than Link's sword in Wind Waker. And Mallow is not Mallow, Tallow. I don't know why they had similar names. I guess they're brothers? I don't really know much about who the exact parents of all the kids are. But yeah, he's appointed himself the Watcher. He basically is going to warn people of monsters coming. Even though there's perfectly fine gates just outside the village. But I guess those didn't keep the Shadow Beast from showing up. So I guess he's... like, he must be really bored. Like, all he's doing is just... like, there's nothing to watch. Always aim slightly below what you're trying to hit. Because you have to account for how the arrow is going to fly upwards. I always thought that this could be lost forever. But you don't have to have Mallow up outdoors to talk to. Like, all you have to do is just talk to Tallow when he's watching the village. That's how you activate it. I used to think that you could have the Hawkeye lost forever because you waited too long. But yeah, attacking the chickens enough actually won't make them all rush at you and attack you. Instead, it just lets you control it, which is really weird. I don't understand why they don't just attack you. I mean, there's no point to it. It's not like you can actually do anything with it. Like, it's so temporary. Like, you could never control a pig in Wind Waker, even though you could control like 8 billion other characters. So that's kind of weird. Like, I guess they had some sort of reference to how many characters you could control with the command melody, but they don't really do anything with it. Most of the file names for the sound effects in Twilight Princess are prefixed with Z2, which stands for Zelda 2. A nod to the fact that the game is the second Zelda title on the GameCube. Same thing was done for Majora's Mask, as it was the second Zelda game on the N64.